Blessed love greetings, I, the Now Church family. This is Ras Bear I with you once again. And I hope this meets the eyes in good health and strength and peace of mind. This one is entitled RasTafari Rising from Stagnation. We originally are from the African continent and were captured and brought into the Western world. We suffered much and lost much, but we know that Rastafari is the answer that came for I redemption. I will keep on treading on this path of Rastafari, knowing that His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie is the Messiah, has returned and given us the blueprint and the teachings we need for full success. But let's review where we came from and how we reached where we are now. Yes, indeed, we suffered much on the slave plantations, in the slavery system. And the slave masters even used the Holy Scriptures, twisting the meanings to keep I in slavery. Marcus Messiah Garvey is one of the stalwarts appointed by Jah to awaken the African mind. And then we had the coronation of His Imperial Majesty, Gramawi Kedemawi Haile Selassie I in Addis Ababa, 1930. That awakened many ones and ones in the island of Jamaica, including Leonard Percival Howell, Joseph Nathaniel Hibbert, and Archibald Dunkley. Robert Hines was also among those first four apostles. Then we had Claudius Henry, known as the repairer of the breach. There was also Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards on the scene, awakening I Rastafari. And then came the persecutions, constant oppression and harassment from the powers that be. I was one Rastafari, a united body throughout the island and spreading in other places as well. Growing in strength regardless of the persecution. The Coral Gardens Massacre, Bad Friday. Horrible persecution came upon I when the authorities decided that all Rasta must be gathered up, trimmed, etc. But that changed when His Imperial Majesty visited Jamaica in 1966, April 21st. We saw our Messiah in flesh and in person for the first time. He was welcomed with the greatest welcome of any nation for any leader landing upon the island. This influenced the cultural heroes of the time, such as the Wailers. And the reggae music phenomenon began to take hold. It began to spread throughout the known world as Bob Marley and the Wailers toured the world, Babylon by bus. Man like Burning Spear became part of the mission, spreading all across the earth. Winston Rodney being his original birth name. Joseph Hill and Culture, also part of that great movement, bringing many to the knowledge of Rastafari. Steel Pulse, Dennis Brown, and the list goes on and on and on. We give thanks for that great upheaval and popularity of reggae music as it began to spread all over the earth in the mid-70s, 80s, and 90s. It even helped in the independence of Zimbabwe, changing it from Rhodesia to Zimbabwe. And Bob Marley's music had much in that process. South Africa, reggae music fought for that freedom of Mandela. But we had in Jamaica the CIA using people like Edward Seaga to stamp down the movement of the people. They connived and caused the death of Robert Nesta Marley. And from that time, the powers that be did their best in an onslaught to change the movement, water down the movement to a meaningless one love. Everything goes, everything happens with anyone doing whatever they want to do. The teachings of His Majesty became obscured at that point in time. The teachings of Garvey also. It became a money game. While at the same time, Rastaman was being arrested here, there, and everywhere for possession of the holy herb. Persecution was coming on strong again on the international scene. Still, Rastafari continued to trot on strongly and powerfully. Then they brought in money enticement, making ones and ones succumb to the need for money, selling drugs of all kinds, going against the principles of Rastafari. But thankfully today, we have a new bunch of teachers and proclaimers of Rastafari on the World Wide Web. Man like Priest Isaac, Jaboni, the Lion's Voice Network, I Just Stars, The Mindset. We give thanks because they are all part of this new way of understanding, this new way of thinking, the new faculty of understanding that Elder Mortimer Plano told us all about. A mystical, magical, spiritual liberty. African traditions must be reintegrated into I African Christianity. And so we are indeed rising and rising out of the stagnation. For I have found the key. Man like Jah Sparks also is helping I in this movement as we rise. So give thanks and praise continually. I hope the eyes are well in the name of Jah, Rastafari, Selassie.